Uh, Hello, sir. Welcome to the 18th episode of Suits and Sports, wherein we talk about everything related to sports law and other things related to sports. This is Kingshuk. I'm the assistant editor from Global Sports Policy Review, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague Ryan, who is an associate editor with us. And for today's episode, we have Mr. Santiago Zambrano, who is a director of sports law at Conlegal Advocates. Plus, he has held a number of positions, including being a member of the National Anti-Doping Committee of Ecuador, as well as a number of positions, including the legal counsel for Guadalajara FC. Sir, welcome. And what are your opening thoughts about the entire session? If you could tell us something about yourself, what work you do, and all that stuff.
Well, first of all, King Shuk and Ryan, I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit my thoughts and what I consider about sports law, especially in my country, Ecuador, which is, well, it's not so close from your country. So it's very important to connect in that way. And that's very important for us and for the people that will listen to this very important and very necessary conversation to get to know a little bit more about these specific topics. Well, sports law in Ecuador is a topic that it's starting to be heard by all the sporting entities. I can tell you that before, sporting clubs, and I would say mainly football, which is the first sport and the only professional sport in Ecuador, will try to correct all the legal issues that they are having on their teams with regular lawyers. So to put you in an example, most of the clubs are being managed by very big directors of different companies in Ecuador. And in those companies, they have, of course, the lawyers for the companies. They will try to reduce costs and share the lawyers of the company in the clubs or with the necessities of the clubs. And that's like the first mistake that I can find here when I arrived 3 years ago. I don't know if if it is because they want to reduce costs, because they don't find the real necessities to have a sports lawyer for the club. But the situation is that clubs are not being covered as they should be covered on a sporting legal perspective.
Thank you so much for that. We have with us Mr. Subhrajit Chanda, who is the founder of Global Sports Review. Welcome, sir. And if our founder has any questions for you, we're very open to.
Hello, Mr. Santiago. How are you? Sorry, I was stuck with another meeting, which is still now it's going on, Microsoft thing. So, but I have muted that I came here. So, yeah, once thank you very much for your time. And it's early morning in Ecuador, and we have disturbed you in this early morning. And we are also sorry for that. So, how is your day been? Still now, like wake up. How is your day been?
Well, it's just fine. I will use it to have a very good breakfast. Maybe I will get one ceviche, and that will compensate everything. Besides, well, the very nice conversation that we're having now.
And another thing, like as you know, that Copa is going on in your like Copa America, and I think recently Ecuador will be fighting against Brazil. So how is the scenario there?
Oh. Well, we were very enthusiastic at the beginning of the Copa America because right now we are on the third position to qualify for Qatar World Cup. The problem is that we lost the last two matches, and one was very, I would say not easy, but was inside of the project that we set because it was against Peru in Quito. I don't know if you know, but Quito is situated between mountains, and on maybe it's 2,300 meters above the ocean side. And well, we were counting with those 3 points. So that put us on a very delicate situation. We went to Copa America. The format of Copa America is that 4 out of 5 teams will classificate or qualified for the next round. And well, we now have to play against Brazil to and wait if we can qualify. So it's very difficult right now. We draw with Peru, and we were winning 2-0. We draw with Venezuela in the last minute. We lost to Colombia, and we beat Colombia 4 months ago 6-1 in Quito. So well, that's football. Let's see what we can do.
Now coming to your topic, like doping. So we know when you are one of the best in the Ecuador, that not in the Ecuador, I will say in the Latin America, you are one of the best. So when I was going through, then it was come to my mind in 2016. And 2016, Ecuadorian government has done something regarding the drugs association, right? And then in cash, Angola was there, who was been banned for 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's your view in that? Like, what will be your conclusion if you are sitting in a cash and you are giving a judgment? So what will be your view?
Well, I would say that I mean, doping is a very delicate topic. In Ecuador, it's not a criminal offense. I believe in India, it's a criminal offense. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to fight doping because it is necessary. But I'm getting more convinced that we need to fight doping until a certain limit. Because if we eradicate doping cases, well, the budget for fighting doping cases will go to a different wallet. So it's, I don't know if you can understand me, but okay, you will fight doping, try to get as many cases as possible, but if you clean the sport, that budget that went directly to the doping bank accounts will go to a different bank account to fight a different problem. So doping will be maybe a problem that we will fight, but not with all the conviction to eradicate doping. That's my perspective. And in Ecuador, we're having a very important problem because the government, by political decisions, tried to change ONADE, which is the anti-doping Ecuadorian organization. And by doing that, we were suspended of the affiliated South American anti-doping organizations because they consider that we are not having the independence that we need. And if that is something that happens in Ecuador, I believe that's something that also can happen in other countries from the region that will try to put in those political places. This is because of the corruption, of course, but that's a consequence of political decisions. Okay, my friend, my relative needs to be on a very nice or very important position, so I will put them. They are from the sports ministry. Now they change it. So I hope this new sports ministry can fix the situation and we can get back to be affiliated to anti-doping of American organization and fight back doping cases in Ecuador.
In this case, like in doping, in another prospect, I want to take it here. Like as you know, like if we see in this Latin American part, and mostly TV series like Netflix and all. Obviously, we see Netflix and all. Then we are seeing like most of this, like the drugs prospect. like the cartels and all, this cartel prospect and all it going on this areas of Colombia, to the roots of Colombia, then going for the Mexico and all, right? So yeah, like there is only not only this fact, like the people will be preferring going for a doping. It should be not regarding only from the part which is like in the sports, inside in the sports. So countries like Ecuador and all, which comes in the line in between these countries, they also fight regarding the outer part of the sporting world, right? Not only from the inside the field, you have to fight outside the field, because we have seen many incidents. Even sports persons personalities are also involved in certain matters, right? With this drugs lord and cattle. So what's your view on that?
Well, now Ecuador has become like a new deposit center, I could say, or a way to, or the road to move drugs in South America, and that's a very sad problem. And yes, it is all part of that. It is part of the things that we need to fix. Most of the things we can talk, and I'm very glad to be here talking about these problems of doping and abuse of uh, unauthorized products in the sports perspective. But that's only one part. For example, I have checked a lot of bylaws and statutes of national federations that does not have established anything. Not not only, I would say, okay, some concepts about doping or what to do or possible sanctions. No, you will read national statutes for, I would say, basketball, surfing, water sports like diving or volleyball, which are tennis, big sports. And in those statutes, you won't find anything about doping. So and that's also part of the problem I was talking before. We don't have enough sports lawyers, and we are not being really a necessity for sports parties. And that's I mean, that's taking us to have a lack of sports regulations. Now we can find it on doping, but there are a lot of things that we need to start talking about these situations. I saw the one publication about the New Zealand transgender athlete. That's also a thing that we need to get together, people from Ecuador, from India, from New Zealand, from everywhere, to start talking and say, okay, what should be done? What can we do? We don't have enough free movement to have a conversation or to fix a regulation. Okay, let's make some noise, and then with that we can keep walking.
Like, so coming to this so answer, like very prominent answer which you have given, I think coming to the point of basketball, we have a basketball student here who is Ryan. So Ryan, like he is I think he's a very good basketball player also in his university level. So what's, I think Ryan has some question for you maybe.
Yes, of course.
Unfortunately, the question in my mind is not related to basketball, but it was great listening that the basketball reference. So my question to you, sir, you actually worked with a football club before, and right now you're involved in badminton. So I want to ask you, what are the major differences you see when it comes to working with a team atmosphere, and then when you come to badminton, where you have to look at the individual player perspective?
Well, thank you, Ryan, for the question. I'm very honored to meet such a prominent basketball star, as Subhrajit said. Well, basketball in Ecuador has a lot of difficulties. First of all, we are not tall people in Ecuador, so we won't find tall athletes. But when we do find them, then comes the next problem, which is that only football, that is a group sport or a collective sport have the right, how can I say, have the right support, okay? But most of the collective sports in Ecuador won't have the necessary support because by the end of the day, basketball have one medal, the male or female, okay? But in athleticism, one athlete can make 3-4 medals. So they will focus on them, and it's going to be cheaper to give an economic benefit from the government to one athlete than to 6 or 7 players that can only all of them get one single medal. And well, that's one of the, well, two of the issues that I can see. There's a lot to do. I was hired by the Ecuadorian Basketball Federation to update the statutes, bylaws, and they told me, okay, they have a budget. I would say that with that budget, I will work normally 2 updates of 2 different codes. I would say, for example, a disciplinary code and affiliation code. Well, with that budget, I had to work for 10 codes. I do it because it's very interesting for me. Now I'm the lawyer or the main lawyer or head of legal, external head of legal or a sports lawyer of Ecuadorian Basketball Federation. But it's really difficult. After that, I talked to the president to tell him that I finished the statutes, and I haven't had any response with that. So I know he's a very busy man. He's doing his best, but that's a problem. I mean, they hire you, you work, you finish the job, and then you go back with them, tell them, okay, the work's finished. Here are the statutes. Let's start working with the new statutes. And I don't want to say that it's that they're not interested or that it's not important for them to update the legal framework that they have, but maybe there are other things that are more important. Then going to badminton, the problem is that well, it's not a very common sport to play in Ecuador. We have great players, but there are just few of them. Coaches are from Asia mainly. We have had a couple of European coaches, but most of them will be from Asia, and we don't get the support by the country. I mean, that's not a sport that people want to know, to see a match, or even they don't even know what badminton is. You can go to a mall and say, "Hey, I play badminton," and they will ask you, "Please tell me or show me what is badminton." So that's one of the problems, but that's not a problem from Ecuadorian Badminton Federation. That's a problem of the International Badminton Federation that need to help countries as Ecuador to develop badminton. I think I know that in India it's a very common sport. You have very talented players, international champions, always on the side against India or Japan or Korea or Malaysia. And here is, I can say that we are between 4th, 5th, or 6th place in South America, with a national team with 10 players, and the national single champion also has to play mixed and doubles. We don't have different training because we don't have enough players. So if you play good singles, well, you have to do your best also in doubles and mixed.
Like, so you are from Ecuador and you are from a football nation. So I want to ask you one question to you, like being a Ecuadorian from Ecuador national country, which is your favorite club in football?
Which is my favorite club?
Yeah, in football.
But inside Ecuador?
Anywhere in the world. If I say which is your favorite club, which will be coming in your mind? Like,
Well, my favorite club is the club which I support here in Ecuador. That is Emelec. It's also from my city. We call themselves Bombillo, and I have the honor to work with them. But of course, I support all the teams or all the clubs that I work with. And that is something that can only be seen on sports law, because you start working with a club and you get really attached with what they are doing, or even you start supporting teams that you're not working with, but you have the possibility. Maybe there's a club, for example, last week, a club called me. They want to hear an offer from me to be the lawyer of the club. I sent the offer. They were negotiating, and I was very interested on their position. They are on the second division of Ecuador, and of course I was trying to send them all my support to start winning. Even though I have never seen a match of them, I was very interested on their game. I started learning about the history of the club. So it's very nice, that part of sports. I have a very good friend that also from India too. And when I was studying in Madrid, he taught me about what's the name? And I forgot.
is
Cricket. Cricket.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm never going to forget the name Ishan Kishan.
Sachin.
Ishan Kishan it's
Oh,
a
Ishan
cricket
Kishan.
player. Yeah, right?
Yeah, you are right. You are
So
right.
That is very surprising, because when people talk about
Because yeah,
cricket,
even I
we
was
generally say Sachin or Virat Kohli, people like that. So Ishan Kishan is a very strange name to suggest.
obvious.
I, I don't know, but I got it on my mind. I started watching cricket with my friend. There's a couple of Indian restaurants here in Ecuador, and you can imagine when they were okay. I'm in Guayaquil. It's a complete different country, a complete different city where I come from. They are making their chicken masala, which I love it, by the way. And then I will tell them a couple. I can't say the words that I know in Hindi because they are prohibited words, but I can say, hey, I know Ishan Kishan, and they will blow his mind. They will be like, what? How someone in Ecuador knows about Ishan Kishan? Uh, how does you know about these bad words in India? How you know them? And then I will, of course, tell the story about my very good friend.
No, but Mr. Santiago, if you like in India, if you say you know Ishan Kishan, then you will be digging a well for yourself. It's like digging a grave for yourself, because Ishan Kishan is something like, like he's a ground level player. Yeah, I started to play for India, but he's like from starting from a ground level. So it will be like they will ask us, tell me other players who do you know from the grassroots level. So it will be something like you will be digging your own graveyard. Okay, so it's, even I was in shock to know Ishan Kishan. When you say Ishan. I was like, well, okay, he will say Sachin. Sachin is known for the god of cricket. So I was like, okay, Mr. Santiago said Ishan Kishan. And I was in shock. So yeah, but let me ask you another thing. Like it will be a bit controversial, this part. So if we ask you, who is your favorite Latin American footballer? So whom will you recall? Like, we know many Latin American football because in Eastern region, even in Eastern region, we know Neymar, we know Falcao, we know James Rodriguez. Then obviously Messi is also there. Then Aguero. So we know basically in Eastern region of the part with the football is developed, like football is well known. Eastern region and little bit in Goa, there's an understanding in the southern part, and we have world second most rivalry game, which is just after Barcelona and Real, which is you can when you can search in Google, you will find it. It's Asia's one of the oldest club, Mohun Bagan and East
Mhm.
Bengal. It's also has a big rivalry, right? So yeah, now coming to your question, then who's your favorite Latin American footballer? Pele, Maradona, Messi, who?
Well, I grew up listening or hearing stories about Maradona, watching videos on YouTube. At the beginning, wasn't YouTube, but then when YouTube was very easy to access, I started watching videos of Maradona, of Pelé, of Garrincha. We have our own ambassador. And even Pelé has said that after him, the best header was Carlos Alberto Spencer. Uh, he's he is the maybe you know Antonio Valencia, which was the right back and right wing at the beginning in Manchester United. His career was amazing. 10 years in Manchester United. He played. He won an Europa League. He played the Champions League final. Uh, but everyone can agree that Alberto Spencer was our Diego Maradona in Ecuador. So I would say, of course, uh, this Ecuadorian player, and he was so good that before in that time on the 60s, that's the day when he played, he was defending Peñarol from Uruguay. Uh, and they played the International Cup. I don't know if you remember that before it was not the club's World Cup, but it was International Cup, and you had to play in South America, and then you had to play in Europe. Uh, and they played Peñarol, they won the Copa Libertadores, they played against Real Madrid, and they beat Real Madrid on Uruguay, and then they won in Santiago Bernabeu against Real Madrid, and Alberto Spencer scored the 2 goals against Real Madrid in Madrid to win the International Cup. So that's something that make us very proud to have this football start. And if I can share this story to people from India, that's something very also good for Ecuador.
Sir, one thing that I would love to ask at this point, it is obvious that for Copa America you'll be supporting Ecuador, but since Euros is also going on at this point of time, which team would you want to see win the Euros? And if there is any European club which you support or which you like to watch play?
Well, I support Real Madrid. That's a funny story because I grew up in Mexico uh, until my 7th birthday because my parents are doctors. They went to Mexico to get a specialization. And when I came to live again, we had never on that time qualified for a World Cup. So and I believe at my age that I was Mexican. I thought, well, I talk like a Mexican. I know everything from Mexico. I have only memories of living in Mexico. I came back in 1998. I was studying in the German school. I think it was best 16. Mexico played against Germany. Mexico lost. Everyone was making fun of me in the German school because well, they were Germans and I was the only Mexican speaker. And in the next round, Croatia beat Germany with a double super, scoring the only goal. And I asked my father, who's that player? Now I will support Croatia. I want to support the player. And then he told me, well, that player is playing in Real Madrid. And that's how I started following Real Madrid. And then, of course, I had an attach when I went to Madrid to study. So for me, it's Real Madrid. And in the Eurocopa, in the European Cup, I'm supporting Portugal, of course, for Cristiano Ronaldo, which is like Real. I'm still shocked. When he left, I had the opportunity to watch him play. That was his last year. But I would say that besides Portugal, I consider that Belgium is a very good team, and they're also kind of on their moment. So that could be something that can happen. France also, of course, they have a very good team, but I see those two teams, Portugal and Belgium, doing something.
So, sir, I think we will now come to the end of our conversation, unless anyone else has any questions. Sir, so it was really fruitful talking to you. We loved listening to you talk about your country and its regulations and everything. It is very evident that you're very passionate about Ecuador and improving its sports law and in general stuff. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us. And as far as Portugal is concerned, it is going to play in around half an hour. So let's hope for the best for you. So thank you so much, sir. And well, we come to the end. Thank you so much.
Once again,
Well,
from my side and by the team of GSPR, we are very grateful and honored that you have scheduled the time for us and came for the meeting and given your view regarding doping and also some funny interesting conversation which we had, and we are really grateful for that. Hope someday we will be, after this corona epidemic goes on like over, so we will be welcoming you in India, and that time we will be welcoming you to see Ishan Kishan playing.
thank you. That will be very very nice for me. I'm very thankful with GSPR, with all of you. Thank you very much for considering me. I have always all the time in the world to talk about my country, my experience, to help people find out what do they want, what are the obstacles in this career. It's not easy, but it's very grateful to be here, to support, to grow up, to learn, to have mistakes in this industry. It's not as painful as could be in other industries. I have a special love to India, of course, because of my friend. You had a very good ambassadors at ISDE. I hope one day I can go to India and watch a proper cricket match of 3 days, 4 days. They're still making them, right? Or am I wrong?
That is what we say, test cricket. That is for 4 days goes on. And other than that, we have ODI, which is 1 day, which is a 50 over. And the most interesting will be if you see the T20, 20 overs, less time. Then in 20 overs to score more, some teams score more than 200 runs in 20 overs. And some teams scores in 50 overs 200 runs. So that is the difference between T20, and it's like a fast and slow. But yeah, we feel the game which is a test game. If you want to see test game, a good condition of a test game, I will say go for England. Though the rainy weather is very bad there, but that is you will find a really good atmosphere of cricket in England for this county game also for the test. That's what's my view.
I will follow your recommendation.
Thank you so much, sir. And yeah,